Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we are jumping right in to decode the microscopic engine that is absolutely driving high-yield precision agriculture right now. We're talking about chelated microelement fertilizers. We're going to look at how modern farming is navigating some pretty severe environmental constraints by totally rethinking plant nutrition at the molecular level. And we'll specifically evaluate how this exact chemistry translates to emerging agricultural frameworks in regions like Southeast Asia.
Here's our roadmap for the Explainer today. 1. The traditional fertilizer problem. 2. The chelated solution. 3. Inside the EDTA mix. 4. Boosting crop growth. 5. Enhancing crop quality. And finally, 6. The precision ag secret.
Section 1. The traditional fertilizer problem. Hitting the limits.
Okay, so traditional, inorganic fertilizers have obviously driven massive agricultural growth over the last century, right? But here's the thing. They've hit a definitive ceiling. According to a comprehensive review in the Chinese Agricultural Science Bulletin, which analyzed the effect of chelate fertilizers on crop growth, the researchers state it pretty plainly. Long-term application of inorganic fertilizer could lead to environmental problems. Basically, we're dealing with severe compounding issues here, like extreme nutrient leaching and really poor soil accumulation. The macro-environmental burden is simply too high at this point, which demands a much smarter, highly calibrated delivery system.
Section 2. The chelated solution, the precise tool.
So, what's the fix? Well, it all comes down to chelated fertilizers. Our source research notes they perform exceptionally well in agriculture because of what they call their special structural specificity. Think of it like this. The vital microelements are essentially bound up in a microscopic protective chemical claw. This specific structure prevents premature reactions in the dirt and stops the nutrients from just getting locked up by antagonistic elements in the soil. Because that payload is shielded, the nutrients get delivered directly and efficiently into the plant system. It's a real game changer because it allows for optimal crop growth without the severe environmental runoff we see with traditional applications.
Section 3. Inside the EDTA mix, a micro-level look.
To really ground this science in reality, let's examine the physical properties of an actual real-world product, EDTA mix granule. If you look at the raw, unadulterated form of this chelated mix, it's this incredibly visually striking pure green powder. It's highly concentrated, but to actually use it in the real world, it's processed into grayish granules. Converting that super concentrated powder into stable granules is exactly what bridges the gap between laboratory science and actual soil application. You know, it's the required format if you're going to mechanically disperse this stuff across massive, large-scale farming environments.
All right, let's get into the hard data. What we're looking at is a certificate of analysis pulled from a massive 5,000 kilogram batch of this EDTA mix granule. When you compare the specification requirements directly against the actual test results, you see just how incredibly precise this delivery system is. The actual test results consistently conform to or even beat the required specs. Iron was spec'd at 4.0%, but it actually tested at 4.2%. Zinc required 5.0% and tested at 5.1%. Manganese and boron both tested slightly higher than their 2.0% requirement.
Breaking that data out highlights the dominant elements in the formula. The heavy hitters here are clearly zinc at 5.1% and iron at 4.2%. Now, the EDTA part, that stands for ethylene diminotetraacetic acid, acts as this highly stable chelating agent. It's doing all the heavy lifting to bind these elements together. Magnesium and boron follow up at 2.1%. By heavily loading the mix with chelated zinc and iron, this fertilizer is specifically targeting some of the absolute most common, yield-limiting nutritional deficiencies we see in modern crops today.
Just to round out the whole shebang, we also see precise inclusions of copper at 0.5% and molybdenum at 0.2%. It maintains a slightly alkaline pH of 7.7, which is absolutely crucial for stability in alkaline soils, along with a really reliable 2-year shelf life. The key takeaway here? High-yield precision agriculture isn't just about dumping a ton of nitrogen into the dirt anymore. It is a highly calibrated chemical cocktail optimized for maximum plant uptake and long-term storage stability.
Section 4. Boosting crop growth, the botanical proof.
So what does this actually do out in the field? This is where that targeted chemistry yields some very tangible botanical outcomes. The research shows that applying chelated fertilizers directly promotes plant growth by visibly enhancing the physical appearance of the crop and, critically, significantly increasing chlorophyll production. Maximizing chlorophyll, which is literally the powerhouse of plant energy, naturally accelerates photosynthesis, and that leads to a much higher overall crop yield.
For high economic growth crops where every single ounce of yield dictates your profitability, this kind of biological efficiency isn't just nice to have, it's an absolute operational requirement.
Section 5. Enhancing crop quality, fundamentally improving. But precision agriculture demands more than just growing stuff faster, right? It's about a fundamental improvement in the internal quality of the harvest itself. This rapid-fire breakdown of the quality indicators linked to chelated fertilizers is honestly staggering. We're talking about measured, documented boosts in vitamin C, carbohydrates, sugars, protein levels, and soluble solids. Plus, the research notes a huge improvement in storage quality, so extended shelf life, and an optimization of nitrate-nitrogen levels, which literally makes the crop safer for human consumption. That protective chemical claw structure we analyzed earlier, this right here is exactly what it unlocks.
Section 6. The Precision Ag Secret, pulling threads together.
Now, as transparent data consumers, we always have to call out the operational gaps in the research. And there is one here. While the product specifications of the EDTA mix are rigorously validated and the broad benefits of chelation are well documented across agricultural studies, our specific source material does lack hyperlocal regional application data for Southeast Asia. The foundational chemistry is incredibly sound, no doubt about it, but those local field trials and environmental case studies remain the missing puzzle piece for wide-scale regional implementation in that specific theater.
We've seen how overcoming the massive environmental problems of traditional fertilizers relies entirely on these highly precise chelated solutions. We've seen the exact chemical breakdowns, those protective structures, and the massive leaps in both overall crop yield and internal nutritional quality. It's pretty amazing stuff. So, I'm going to leave you with this question to ponder. If micro-adjustments in zinc and iron, locked in a highly specific chemical structure, can fundamentally transform the yield and quality of our entire food supply, what other microscopic secrets is modern agriculture currently ignoring? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep asking questions and keep learning.